You can set up profiles within the chat software on a NovaChat to easily switch between two files and/or settings at the touch of a button. A profile provides a snapshot of the current settings and vocabulary on the system, allowing them to be saved and easily accessed at a later time. Multiple profiles can be saved on a single device. A button can also be created to load a specific profile from within the vocabulary, minimizing the need to navigate through the menus. There are several reasons why you might wish to create a profile. A few examples might be to toggle between two languages, such as English and Spanish, to adjust access settings throughout the day due to client fatigue, to transition between two different vocabulary files, or to save settings for evaluative purposes. Let's set up a profile to toggle between two languages and vocabulary files: English Word Power 60 Basic and Spanish Word Power 60 Español Básico. Before you create a profile, make sure the client's original vocabulary or vocabularies are duplicated. I have duplicated one vocabulary for English and one for Spanish. Once you have duplicated both vocabulary files, open the duplicated version of Word Power 60 Basic English. To save this vocabulary to a profile, you will first need to adjust all desired settings such as timing, voice, style, and any access-related settings. Let's adjust those settings now for this vocabulary. Once you have adjusted your settings for your chosen file, you are ready to create and save your settings to a profile. Select Menu, then Application Settings. You will see Profiles towards the bottom of the Settings menu. Select New to create a new profile. Enter a profile name for your file, such as English. Then select Save. Note that anytime you adjust the settings associated with this profile, you will need to resave the settings by following these same steps. Once you have saved your English profile, select the back arrow at the bottom of the Settings menu to return to the Vocabulary home screen. Now let's open our duplicated version of Word Power 60 Español Básico and adjust those settings. Within the chat software, you have the option to change the language of the menu and application settings. Let's change the language to Spanish to match the Spanish vocabulary. Once in the application settings, scroll down to Language. Select Spanish in the pop-up window. Now the menu and application settings will be in Spanish as well. Continue changing the settings to match the needs of your AAC communicator. Be sure that the voice you chose for the English profile is the same voice in the Spanish profile. To do so, select Emisión del Habla, then Voz, then Preferencias de Voz. For this example, we will choose Valeria, since this is the voice we chose for the English profile. Choosing the same voice for both profiles will ensure the voice synthesizer pronounces the words correctly in both languages. Select Save and navigate back to the Application Settings menu. I am going to make sure the keyguard inset is selected in the Spanish profile as well, since our AAC communicator uses a keyguard. Go to Estilo, then scroll to Recuadro, Bloqueo de Teclas. Make sure there is a checkmark next to this setting to indicate it is turned on. Navigate back to the Application Settings menu. Now we are going to save our selections to a profile for our Spanish vocabulary. In the Application Settings menu, or Configuraciones de Aplicación, select Perfiles. Once the new window opens, select Nuevo to create a new profile. Now, enter a name for your new profile, such as Spanish. Select Grabar to save the profile and navigate back to the home screen by selecting the back arrow at the bottom of the screen. Once you have saved your Spanish profile, we need to create a button in the Spanish vocabulary to open the English profile. Since we are already in the Spanish vocabulary or profile, we do not need to load it. There are several places in the WordPower vocabulary files where you can create a button to open the English profile. In this example, however, we will create a button in the Grupos, or Groups pages. Navigate to the page where you want to create a button. Once on the page, select Menu, Modo de Edición. Hold down on the empty button where you want to link the profile and select Editar Botón. Enter a name for the button and choose an image. You can also change the body color of the button to make it stand out for the AAC communicator. Now we need to add an action to open the English profile. In the button editing menu, select Funciones, or Actions. Select and hold down on the speech message action labeled Mensaje de habla. Select Quitar to remove the speech message. Removing the speech message will prevent the button from speaking when loading the English vocabulary file. Once you have removed the speech message, select the Añadir Función drop-down to add a new action. Scroll down in the Actions menu and choose Seleccionar Perfil. Since we want this button to open the English profile, we will select the English vocabulary or profile we created earlier. Select Grabar to save your selection on this screen. Select Grabar again in the bottom of the Edit button menu to save your changes to this button. To exit edit mode, select Menu and deselect Modo de Edición. Now, when you select this button, it will open the English profile and vocabulary. Follow the same steps to create a button in the English vocabulary to open the Spanish profile. Since we have opened the English profile from the Spanish vocabulary, we do not need to load it. Navigate to the page where you want to create a button. We will create a button in the Groups pages, just as we did in the Spanish profile under Grupos. Go to the menu and select Edit Mode. Hold down on the empty button where you want to link the profile and select Edit Button. Enter a name for the button and choose an image. You can also change the body color of the button to make it stand out for the AAC communicator. Under the Actions menu, be sure to remove the speech message. This time, when adding an action to select a profile, be sure to choose the Spanish vocabulary or profile you created. This button will then open the Spanish profile when selected. Select Save to save all your changes to this button and exit edit mode. You have successfully linked your profiles. Now, your AAC communicator can toggle between English and Spanish with the touch of a button.